Cybertron Weekly is your central hub for everything Transformers.
Hey guys, Ultra Maximus back with another Transformers review. Today we're taking a look at something a little special. It's the Asia Kids Day exclusive Protectobots Emergency Response Team by Hasbro for the thrilling 30th Transformers anniversary. So this was kind of an exclusive set that put out. It's basically just a repaint of some of the Transformers Prime figures. We have Ratchet as First Aid, we have RC as Groove, and then we have Street Smart, which is a repaint of the Prowl from Transformers Prime, which is a repaint, remold of Smokescreen. So, yeah, I went ahead and picked this up because I don't have a Prowl from Transformers Prime, so I figured Street Smart would be a nice little substitute there. I have just gotten a Ratchet, so I'm going to compare the two, the Ratchet and the First Aid together, and I really, honestly, I don't care about the Groove figure. But yeah, so this is definitely something that was cool. I got this from Amazon.com on sale for like $16, which is why I got the set. You know, I wasn't really super interested in it. The First Aid repaint looks pretty cool. I'm on the air about Street Smart, but for $16, that's the cost of one deluxe figure. And in this set, you get two deluxe figures, plus you get a Legends class figure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the package. So here we have the Protectobot Emergency Response Set in package, and I do like the package. It's kind of interesting, although it's a little elongated for only 3 figures. I think they could have got away with this by shortening the box up a little bit here because there's nothing back behind the set of figures. But I do like the artwork here with First Aid, Street Smart, and Groove. Of course, here we have the 3 figures. We get the Protectobots here. I really dig the emergency tape that's at the back of the box there. I think that is really cool. So just kind of a close-up really fast. Here's the artwork of the 3 bots together. Obviously repaints, just kind of a close-up of the 3 with the tape looking really cool, and then of course the Protectobots Emergency Response Team. This side just has the Autobot logo there. On this side it does have the thrilling 30th logo, and it is number 17 of 30, which is pretty cool. There's nothing on the bottom of the package. Here's the back of the package, so kind of a wide shot. We've got First Aid, we've got Groove, and we have Street Smart both in the robot and in the vehicle mode. Also available, so there was another set of Protectobots, which was basically Hotspot and was it Blades? And I'm not really sure. The Hotspot figure, this is the Evacuation Squad. That is obviously the figure that has been redone multiple times for Inferno and for, I think, Hoist, and Hotspot has been done before. I've seen that figure, but I can't place it off the top of my head. If you know which figure that the Blades is, please leave a comment down below. There's the write-up. If you want to pause and read that, you are more than welcome to. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting set. Again, the reason that I got this was for the fact it was on sale. I mean, $16, that's a really good price for the figures, and I think they were going for about $30 initially. So definitely cool stuff. Let's go ahead and get the figures out of the package and see what we think. And here we had the 3 figures out of package, and what kind of surprised me that I didn't realize when I opened it up, all the weapons were behind the artwork of the figures on the front of the box, which still, that's no excuse for such a long box, but it is what it is. I guess it's a little different marketing. So yeah, here we have the 3 figures. I will say this figure was mistransformed in the package. The front of the vehicle was so widely gapped because the head was not in its proper position. So when I did get it out of the package, I was able to get it to look better. but there are some issues still with the mold, and I think that's because this is like the third or fourth time they've used this mold. But we'll talk about that. So, Streetwise, Groove, and First Aid. Yeah, definitely cool. So let's take a look at their weapons that they come with, and we'll look at them individually here. So here's the weapon that Prowl comes with. It's basically a little blaster with a big old missile. It kind of looks like a harpoon gun to me for some reason. So yeah, there's that. Ratchet gets the same exact blades that he got with his release, except they're a light gray versus a silver color. So here's the blade that comes with the original release of Ratchet from Transformers Prime, and then there's the Protectobot one. So it's just a lighter color, which is interesting. Here's one of the little blasters that comes with RC. Yeah, kind of interesting. Now, on the back of the box, these are blue, about the same blue as the motorcycle. However, they are a very shiny, kind of translucent silver in reality, which is not a bad thing because there was so much blue on that motorcycle that I like the color break. So I'm not too displeased with that. So yeah, definitely kind of cool. So let's take a look at each vehicle individually and see what we think. Alright, so straight out of the gate, I wanted to take a look at First Aid because, well, this is basically one of the vehicles that I was really looking forward to, along with Streetwise, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, that's for sure. I love the great big blue Autobot logo that's on the hood of the car. I really like that, or the ambulance. We get red and blue on the ambulance, although, quite frankly, this reminds me of a United States postal truck versus an ambulance. I think it's the red, white, and the blue. Most ambulances around here are either orange and white, red and white, or they're red and black. I don't really recall seeing any. Well, we have some ambulances around here that are orange, blue, and red, but no red, white, and blue ones in the Indianapolis area. But it is what it is. It rolls well. It's got a nice grille on the front. We have some kind of smoky windows, looking really, really nice. Definitely digging it. So just kind of a close-up. If I can get it to focus, there we go. It looks like the same grille that we get with the original Ratchet figure. The Autobot logo is new. I like it. It's huge. The windows, I believe, are a different color. We got blue lights up here, which are cool. Here's the side. I like the Autobot logo in the little cross back there. I think that is a nice little touch. I'd like to see that in red. That'd be really, really cool. Nothing on the back, unfortunately. Wish they would have painted the tail lights. That would have been really cool. And then, of course, there's the bottom. So yeah, how does this look next to Ratchet? So here's the Ratchet figure next to First Aid. As you can tell, there are differences in the paint, drastic differences in the paint. Ratchet has a red hood, this guy's got a white hood, this guy has a giant Autobot logo on the top. Ratchet has no Autobot logo, which is unfortunate. He's got red up here, this guy's all white. He's got a big red stripe with a blue stripe. He has one red stripe there and then some red stripes around at the top. That's about it. He's got red up here, there's blue up here. Cross with the Autobot logo, nothing on this side. I really would have liked to have seen the medical cross on the side of Ratchet, as he has had on most of his incarnations, or even the little heartbeat with the medical emblem that he had in Transformers Animated. This figure is in ambulance mode, better painted, absolutely, than what we got for Transformers Prime Ratchet. I'm really pleased with that. I think it looks nice, even though it still reminds me of a it reminds me of a mail truck. I think it looks more like an ambulance than this figure does because there's nothing to indicate that this is an ambulance. The painted lights up here at least look like lights. Here you can't really tell because of all that red that's on the top there. So it'd been nice if those were a translucent plastic but the paint job kind of differentiates it on the first aid figure. Another notable difference, and really about the only other notable difference that I see on the figure, is the glass on the windows. This is a translucent blue. This is a smoky gray. Other than that, same mold. But definitely an improvement, I think, over the original Ratchet figure. So here we have Street Smart, aka Prowl, aka Smokescreen. And yeah, I mean, this is a pretty decent figure. I do have the Smokescreen figure, but I have no clue where it's at. I try to find it for the review, but he's hiding in a box somewhere. But that's okay. You know, this is not a bad interpretation of Street Smart. I do like the paint job. It could have used some breakup on the side with all the blue. I really do dig the yellow or orangish translucent plastic on the headlamps. I think that looks nice. I like the police symbol with the Autobot logo in it. They've got the grill painted out nice. We got this nice dark blue translucent plastic for the windows. That might have looked a little cooler with the smoky gray to match first aid, but is what it is. We have these awesome plastic lights on the top for the police vehicle that are translucent plastic. This is what I'm talking about. This is what first aid should have had as well. Definitely cool stuff. And then on the back, we've got this big police logo, which I'm definitely digging. The Autobot logo on the side, that would have been cooler if that matched the front in an opposite color. So if it was all white with the sheriff's star, I think that would have been really cool. And we don't get any taillights, which is unfortunate. Overall, I think they did a good job with it. Yeah, I'm really digging it. I like that look. Unfortunately, this does not clamp together that well. You can see it all the way down the vehicle. I just think this mold has seen better days. Now, what you're not going to see, maybe you will, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, this actually has a sparkle in the plastic, which the Ratchet figure does not. The grill, really nice. Love the translucence. Again, I wish that had the star around it. That would have been a lot better to help break up all that blue. Love the translucent plastic lights on the top. I think that's a great additive. And then, of course, we get the police moniker there on the back spoiler. Definitely cool stuff. So just kind of do a comparison. Really, the only thing I have close on hand is Robots in Disguise Jazz. Very similar type of vehicle. I could easily see this guy getting repainted into a Prowl figure. I think that would look really, really cool. Or even a Street Smart. I can see that. But yeah, definitely cool stuff. Very similar kind of modes. You know, give me a Hot Rod, give me a Prowl. I think that would definitely be cool with RID model, for sure. Alright, and the final vehicle that we have is Groove, which is a repaint of the Legends class Transformers Prime RC. You know, I really didn't care much about this figure. I'm like, yay, a Legends figure. But looking at the set, it does make sense they went with the Legends figure versus a Deluxe in the set because it matches the size. It's a motorcycle. It's smaller than the other figures, and I do appreciate that. So they did a nice scale in comparison between the Deluxe figures and you know, this figure here, which also makes sense of the other two figures are Voyager figures. You've got a helicopter and a fire truck, and those are larger vehicles as well. So the whole scaling of this repaint Protectobot set is pretty impressive. Looking at the motorcycle, I've got it lifted up just slightly so that I can actually stand it, otherwise it's just going to fall over. They did a good job with the paint on it. I mean, it looks like a bike. It doesn't look like a police vehicle to me because there's no police markings on it. It would have been nice if they would have put like a police logo on the side and maybe some lights up on the back of the bike or maybe even in the front. That would have been cool, but as it sits, it's just a blue and yellow motorcycle. Nothing too terribly impressive. So looking at the bike, kind of a close-up. Again, like the paint job, looks nice. Got a nice yellow light up front. Very cool silver paint with some sparkles in it. Very nice. Got a white-black tank. The back end. Again, I would like to have seen some lights up here. You could have easily popped those in or glued them on. That would have been really cool. The detail on the wheels are nice. They got knobby tires, which is kind of weird. But yeah, overall, it's a decent looking little motorcycle. I am digging it. And I like the size scale compared to the other vehicles. I think that's very, very cool. If I can get this to focus again. Ta-da! Alright, so just to do a size comparison, the only thing I've really got on hand that is similar in size is a Transformers Q Sunstreaker. So as you can see, it is a very, very small little vehicle, and you know, that's not a bad thing. It's pretty much an extra to me in a set for $16. So here we have the Protectobots team in their robot mode together as a group, and they actually look pretty decent together. They all have a very similar color scheme. We've got a lot of blue, a lot of white, and it looks good together. Even though they are repaints, it does look good. So let's look at the individual robots and then do some comparisons. So here we have First Aid in the robot mode, and I like it. The color scheme looks better in the robot mode than it does in the vehicle mode. While it is a major improvement on the vehicle from Ratchet, he just looked like a mail truck to me, and I like the color scheme here on First Aid. It really brings out the robot. I like the breakup of more than just red and white. The blue does a little something to the figure that I really appreciate. So just kind of a close-up with a paint scheme. I'm getting to focus here. So yeah, I like the blue stripe going up the head on First Aid, looking really nice. The blue paint picks here and on the shoulders. I really dig how they came out on the forearms. That looks nice, and around the waist. Definitely really cool. And then the highlights on the legs, I think that just looks really, really nice. So to compare him to what the original Transformers Prime Ratchet looks like, here are the two together side by side, and I like it. The only difference that I think that would have made anything huge to me would have been if they would have added the red on the shoulders like they have here, and then maybe the red under the chin on the First Aid figure. Other than that, I mean, it's a really, really good paint scheme. I am digging it for sure. So definitely makes a world of difference on the Ratchet figure. I think it's an improvement. So one final comparison with Ratchet and First Aid, both of them having their blades attached to the weapons. I think this is probably the best weapon gimmick that any of the Transformers Prime figures had. It looks exactly like it did on the show, which I do appreciate that. If you look, if you do not have this figure, you basically just bend Ratchet's hand down and stick the blade in there, and then from the side and from the front, it looks like the blades are popping out, just like they did on the show. Now, one thing I will note about this figure that kind of has me worried. When I first transformed him, I thought the knees were breaking. They were stress broken. But what I discovered, if you look at the back of the knee there, see how it's kind of jiggling? They're the same rubber material that these blades are made out of. They replaced the knee joint with a hard plastic with a rubber plastic. So when you see how it kind of jiggles? That's because it's a soft rubber knee joint versus the original Ratchet that had hard plastic knee joints. Why they did that, I don't know, but that really kind of worries me about the life expectancy of that figure. I don't think that rubber is going to hold up over time, and that's really kind of disconcerting, to the point where I kind of want to find another Ratchet figure and see if I can disassemble it and exchange the knees out. I don't know. If you've got this set and you've experienced problems with the rubber knee joints, definitely leave a comment below. I'd like to hear that, and I'd like to share that with fellow fans. So here we have Street Smart in his robot mode. Oh lord, I forgot what a goofy mess this figure was during transformation. All the parts up around the top of the bot just kind of fall out and you gotta worm their way back together. I mean, it's an okay looking bot. It works pretty well for the figure. The head sculpt is definitely different than the smokescreen figure that I've got, but you know, it is what it is. It looks a little Transformers animated to me, but that's not too terribly bad. So just kind of a close-up and get it to focus. Ta-da! So yeah, he's got a lot of light piping, which is really, really cool if I can get it to pick up any of the light. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. It just, I don't know. I mean, he looks like a cop, I guess. So I like the blue star. I just wish there's a little bit more than just the silver paint. Picks up there. Some blue would have been nice around, especially like around here. Would have been cool, or maybe some red. He's pretty bland, really. And he has a lot of door or hood kibble hanging off of his arms. So that's a little unfortunate. But I like the doors, the big blue doors hanging off the back. Really, really look nice. I am digging this guy. So let's go ahead and compare him to Robots in Disguise Jazz, which is about the most comparable figure I've got on hand. Alright, so here we have Street Smart next to the Robots in Disguise Jazz. And, you know, just, I mean, yes, this is apples and oranges, but they're a pretty close comparison in color scheme and design. And this looks like a Happy Meal toy to me, absolutely, but it does show that this figure could have used something more. It's very bland looking to me, especially compared to the First Aid figure. While it looks nothing like Smokescreen, it doesn't look like Prowl either, so I guess that works. It accomplishes that, but it just needs a little something extra, especially sitting next to the Happy Meal toy. When that's outshining it, something's missing. And he's got some huge clown feet going on here, but that makes it for a good standing, that's for sure. So here we have Groove in robot mode, and, well, it's a repainted RC. Transformation on this figure was actually very interesting and complex for such a tiny little figure, and I liked it. I was really impressed with it. I've never owned the Legends RC figure, so this little character definitely cool. Kind of a close-up here. I mean, it's just a repaint of RC. It's unfortunate they didn't put a new head sculpt on it or did something different with it, but it looks like an RC figure. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a female Groove. I'm guessing so because it has robo boobies. Yeah, is what it is for sure. So for size comparison, the only thing I've got really close is going to be another Transformers Q figure. So there's Transformers Q Red Alert. I mean, it's a Legends figure. It is what it is. Alright, and here is the entire Protectobot team. Well, kind of. I went ahead and threw in my Generations hotspot so you can see how the figures stack up against the Voyager class figures and how they would set up with the repaint of this figure in the other Protectobot set that was released with this. And I went ahead and threw Alpha Bravo in here just to have a helicopter in the set. So, I mean, to be honest, once I get my Slingshot figure for my Superion, I think I'm going to retire Alpha Bravo to this little team and include my Voyager class Generations hotspot and just put these guys all up on the shelf together. I think they actually look pretty good, and it's a nice homage to the G1 Protectobots. So, is the Protectobot Emergency Response Team a set that you want in your Transformers collection? Well, if you're a Protectobots completist, yes, you definitely want to get this. If you like the kind of exclusive figure sets or repaints, you're definitely going to like this, I think. If you missed out on Transformers Prime, Ratchet, and Prowl, this is not a bad set to make up for that. You know, they are repainted, but I think the First Aid repaint is drastically improved over Ratchet. While the Street Smart is so-so, you at least get the figure out of it, I think. It could have used a few more paint apps. And, well, you also get an RC figure out of the deal as Groove. So definitely a fun little set. You know, it's a nice homage to the G1 group, and it will be nice to have these to go with my Alpha Bravo and my Generations Hotspot to create a Protectobot set up on the shelf. Of course, we have the Combiner Wars set coming out, so this could be a redundant set for you. This could be an easy pass, but at the price of $16, I think it was definitely worth it. So there they are, the Protectobots Emergency Response Team, the Asia Kids Day exclusive. If you guys like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. What do you guys think of this set? Add a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Definitely subscribe to my channel, share my videos. I really do appreciate it. And as always, look for more videos in the future.